In this video, we'll be talking about the arteries. Remember, the arteries carry blood away from the heart. The arteries are the first set of blood vessels to receive blood from the pumping heart. There are three major categories of arteries that we're going to talk about. The elastic arteries are the largest arteries. After blood flows through the elastic arteries, it comes to the muscular arteries. After flowing through the muscular arteries, blood flows into the smallest arteries, the arterioles. The arterioles bring blood to the capillary beds. The elastic arteries include the aorta and its major branches. These arteries are very thick-walled as they are located closest to the heart and need to be able to take the pressure of blood coming straight from the heart. These arteries have a large diameter, providing little resistance to blood flow. That's why these arteries are sometimes called conducting arteries. Their purpose is to get blood away from the heart out to the body as quickly as possible with as little resistance as possible. These arteries are called the elastic arteries because they have large numbers of elastic fibers in them, which you can see here. In this image, all of these little black lines running through the tunica media are sheets of elastic fibers called elastic laminae. If you recall, the neat thing about elastic fibers is that they act like rubber bands. You can stretch elastic fibers out, and when you let up on the pressure, they snap back to their original shape. The elastic fibers in the tunica media of the elastic arteries allows the elastic arteries to expand and recoil as blood is ejected from the ventricles of the heart. When blood is ejected from the heart, you have a big bolus of blood going straight into the elastic arteries. The arteries expand to take this big bolus of blood and keep it moving forward. When the ventricles relax, the arteries aren't feeling that press of blood, so the elastic fibers recoil and the arteries return to their original diameter. This expansion and recoiling smooths out pressure fluctuations in the arteries. Most of the named arteries in the body are muscular arteries. The muscular arteries are referred to as distributing arteries because they take the blood from the large elastic arteries and carry it out to the smaller regions of the body. The muscular arteries have the thickest tunica media of all the arteries. Remember, the tunica media is the muscular layer of the arteries and blood vessels. This thick tunica media is the reason why these are referred to as the muscular arteries. In these arteries, the tunica media is almost entirely smooth muscle. They don't have nearly as many elastic fibers as the elastic arteries. They do still have an elastic lamina on two of them, actually. One, the IEL, on the internal face of the tunica media, and a layer of elastic tissue on the external face of the tunica media. The image at the bottom here shows you both an elastic artery and a muscular artery so that you can compare the two. Note how much bigger the elastic artery is and all of the lines of elastic laminae in the tunica media. The muscular artery is smaller and does not have as many visible elastic laminae. Because the muscular arteries have such a thick tunica media, they're very good at constricting. They're much more vasoconstrictive than the elastic arteries. This makes the muscular arteries critical for regulating blood pressure. The smallest arteries of the body are called the arterioles. Arterioles regulate the flow of blood into capillary beds. Constriction of an arteriole decreases blood flow into a capillary bed. Dilation of an arteriole increases blood flow. The structure of the vessel wall in arterioles differs a little bit depending on the size. Larger arterioles have all three tunics, but smaller arterioles look a lot like capillaries. They have the endothelium, the tunica intima, but then just a single layer of smooth muscle cells around that tunica intima. The arteriole that you're looking at over here is a middling-sized arteriole. There are a few things that can go wrong with your arteries, particularly if you have a family history of cardiovascular disease or an unhealthy diet. I should really say, and an unhealthy diet. Atherosclerosis occurs when you have fat and cholesterol-laden plaques building up in your arteries on the arterial wall. Atherosclerosis is sometimes confused with the similar term arteriosclerosis. Arteriosclerosis refers to any thickening or stiffening of the arterial wall. Stiffening of the arterial wall can lead to high blood pressure because a stiff wall cannot dilate and constrict to control blood pressure the way a healthy wall can. Atherosclerosis is a particular type of arteriosclerosis, where the wall thickens because of these fat and cholesterol-laden plaques. These plaques can reduce blood flow through an artery simply by blocking up the lumen. You see this here in this atherosclerotic artery. You see the nice open lumen in the normal artery? This is the only part of the lumen that's left in the atherosclerotic artery. All of this up here is plaque. Atherosclerotic plaques can cause formation of blood clots. Remember, thrombus is the term for a blood clot. These blood clots can be particularly dangerous because they can block the flow of blood completely and suddenly. Myocardial infarctions, heart attacks, are usually related to atherosclerosis because if these blood clots go to the coronary arteries, they can stop blood flow to the heart. If a blood clot goes to the arteries that feed the brain, they can block off blood flow there and cause a stroke. Atherosclerosis is also dangerous because these plaques can dig into the arterial wall, weakening the arterial wall and leading to development of an aneurysm. Aneurysms are where a weakened arterial wall bulges out, kind of like a weak tire. This is showing you an aneurysm in the descending aorta at about the level of the kidneys. There's a kidney here. Notice the size of the aorta above the aneurysm, and notice how it suddenly balloons outward. This is your aneurysm. Aneurysms in the aorta are most common because the aorta is closest to the heart and so must handle the greatest internal pressure. With this constant pressure of blood pushing against the wall can eventually weaken. Atherosclerotic plaques help accelerate this weakening. Chronic high blood pressure weakens the arterial wall as well. And genetics can play a role. There's a condition called Marfan syndrome that's a genetic mutation in collagen. One of the symptoms of Marfan syndrome is a susceptibility to aneurysms. The image over here shows one of the greatest dangers with aneurysms. That weakened arterial wall may rupture. This is actually a blood clot that was stopped up in the aneurysm. This aortic aneurysm ruptured, Someone who has an aortic aneurysm that ruptures will die almost instantaneously. After reviewing this material, you should be able to answer these questions. Go ahead, give it a try now, and try to do it without your notes.